We've heard it all before. Licensed games are typically nothing to write home about, let alone superhero games and movie games.
Good! Now try lighting your gas cloud on fire. Excellent!
But then they did the unthinkable. A superhero movie game. Yeah, we all saw that coming. The superhero movie craze was bound to happen. Muscular men and curvy women in spandex with epic plots, action-oriented choreography, larger-than-life villains. It makes for an obvious candidate for a big-screen adaptation. There had been attempts at this before, some films of note including the first Marvel film, Howard the Duck, Fantastic Four from 1994, which is an unreleased adaptation by Roger Corman, and even the original Spider-Man. No, not that one, this one, from the 1970s. It was a direct-to-TV movie that doubled as the pilot for the first live-action Spidey, played by Nicholas Hammond, whom I believe to be the inspiration for Peter's portrayal in the animated 90s series. But I digress. Superhero cinema would eventually find its footing with Sam Raimi's masterpiece, Spider-Man. This movie was badass. I mean, look at Spider-Man just doing Spider-Man shit. I vividly remember the DVD menu just being the swinging sequence from the end of the movie, and I would put it on just to do things. Before we had Lo-Fi Girl, we had this. It was mesmerizing. My 3-year-old brain was hooked at first web. It was like crack for silly little me, and honestly, it still is today. That red and blue, that web texture all around him, those aerial acrobatics, the air pushing against him as he effortlessly rides his momentum like a spider dick. Everything just makes Spider-Man one of the most magical creations in all of fiction. Of course this movie was getting a game, as did its sequels, one of which is the subject of today's video. We're going to be diving deep into the video game for Spider-Man 2. We'll get to the others in time, but this is the one I have the most familiarity with, and honestly, I wanted an excuse to play it again, as if I've ever needed one before. Spider-Man 2 started development swiftly after finishing the first game. Designer Jamie Fristrom expressed disappointment in the original game's feel and lack of control, and wanted to greatly expand these systems in the sequel. His main concern was the swinging. In Spider-Man 1, you'd hit the R button, and Spidey would just continuously swing in whatever direction you have him pointing. No anchor, no nothing. Just attaching to the clouds, I guess. Actually, as a kid, I thought he was anchoring to the helicopters that were just out of view. I was a dumb kid. In Spider-Man 2, swinging around feels so natural. You shoot a web, it sticks to a building, and you pivot around that anchor point. Early on it feels a little slow, but you frequently upgrade the swing speed, and before long, you're swinging so fast you could see everything popping in when playing it upscaled. Even the little bit of jank that will inevitably come with it feels intentional, as the learning curve we must experience is right in line with how it would feel to learn your brand new spider powers. Another goal was to make New York City feel like a living, breathing place. The fancy new swinging mechanics needed a fun playground to be experienced in, so these two elements were developed rather simultaneously, and on all counts they blew this goal out of the water. I'm a New Yorker born and raised, and I can say that this world feels like home. It's not just cosplaying my home, it feels like it's actually here, and I just think that's neat. All of these elements come together to be the first game to make you feel like Spider-Man, as many others have said, but more than that, it's also the first game that makes you feel like Peter Parker. Peter Parker has always been the most relatable superhero, and this was by design. Creator Stan Lee dreamt up Spider-Man with the intent of being an everyman, a struggling nerd trying to make ends meet and be there for the ones he loves. And this is the focus of the entire game's plot. Much like the movie, it follows Peter and his struggles of being both himself and the hero he's created. The game tells the plot of the movie pretty well, but with wildly different execution. In the movie, Peter loses his powers, and the gas station pills won't help him with this one, unfortunately, but that would make for shitty gameplay. Hey, Want to play this new Spider-Man game? It's mostly a walking simulator with cutscenes of Peter looking out the window, sadly listening to Vindicated by Dashboard Confessional. We are winning Game of the Year with this one, boys. I am selfish, I am wrong, I am right, I swear I'm right, swear I knew it all along, and I am flawed, but I am cleaning up so well, I am seeing in me now the things you swore you saw yourself so clear. God, that would suck so bad. So they had to find another way to tell the story, and instead of taking away his spider erection, they gave him one. The video game for Spider-Man 2 adds characters from the Spideyverse to fill out the runtime. The roster includes the usual suspects, of course: Dr. Tentacle Porn, Mary Jank, Harry Polygosborn, J. Jonah Hill, but we have some game-exclusive additions too. We got Bad Cat, 2-to-1 Ratio Man, Republican in name only, and Quentin Tarantino filling up the roster too. We start up the game on a rooftop, having hallucinations of Bruce Campbell. He tells you that you can stick to walls and then tells you to jump off a building. You can also choose to touch the giant glowing circle, shutting him up and skipping the tutorial. Maybe this is a spider antipsychotic given the context. One thing I noticed in the tutorial that I found very interesting was how different the jumping mechanic is in this game. In most cases, your character will jump the very frame you press the button, and the longer you hold it will increase the height of your jump, carrying the momentum. In Spider-Man 2, however, the jump is triggered by releasing the button, and the longer you hold it before releasing it, the more height you get. This is called charging your jump, and it's crazy to me how natural it feels. The control choice was a risk, but it fit Spider-Man significantly more than a traditional jump mechanic. The game begins proper with a cinematic cutscene of Spider-Man perched on a building. He drops down and takes swing. This is an attempt to really sell you on the whole you're playing a movie vibe. I really don't know how to feel about that stylistic choice, but we'll talk about that later. The first story mission sees Peter remembering he's late for Dr. Connor's class. We start swinging in that direction and almost make it before we hear a cry for help just a couple of blocks away. We have to steal a woman's briefcase back from the thugs who stole it first. We open up a can of whoop ass, grab the case, and return it to the shady woman that it got snatched from. This inevitably makes us late for Dr. Connor's class, where he gives us a good talking to about the importance of time or something. I don't know, I wasn't listening. All I can hear is the sound of my student debt for my unfinished art degree calling my name. Shortly after, we're introduced to two of the main characters from the movie: Harry Alpha Male Osborn and Mary Jane fucking bitch Watson. They're the main anchors to Peter's life as a normal college student. Pretty much the symbol of Peter's humanity, along with his Aunt May, who we barely see in this game, unfortunately. When we're not getting cutscenes, we're getting Peter's internal monologues, talking to himself about how miserable he is and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I love Peter as a character, but the tone of this game is so unserious that these just feel out of place. Yeah, the biggest flaw of this game is its need to go back to the reference material. It wants to be a parody of the movie so bad, and I mean that lovingly, but the serious moments just don't land because this is such a silly version of this world. Do you really expect me to be able to feel bad for him emotionally while this shit is playing? Now's a better time than any to talk about side objectives. These are extra things from the main story that give you the game's main collectible, hero points. Hero points are used to buy upgrades from the Spidey store that boost your swing speed, aerial tricks, combat capabilities, and often teach you new moves. The most common side objectives are the NPC requests. These are marked by a green icon popping up on your map, and have you doing anything from saving a fallen construction worker, stopping an armored car robbery or shootout, to things like saving people off of sinking boats with your sick jumping skills within a time limit. Almost as frequently, you have world events. When you see a purple marker on your screen, there is something actively happening. These are things like break-ins, road ragers, and the infamous little girl losing her balloon. A lot of people hate that last one in particular, but I always thought it was charming. The poor kid has such bad luck holding on to those things. I just gotta stop what I'm doing to get her balloon. There's also secret tokens hidden on skyscrapers and in secret areas that give you a handful of hero points apiece. But I never really opted to go for all of them personally. Also scattered around the world, you have time trials. These have you completing an obstacle course within a time limit. And last but certainly not least, we have the pizza delivery missions. Peter shows up at work, gets yelled at, and then must deliver X amount of pizzas in Y amount of time. What I find hilarious about this, aside from the meme-to-death music, is that Mr. Aziz comes off as a dick, but he's actually a real homie. Think about it. Peter is not careful at all. He has one delivery boy, and customers are getting their orders delivered by Spider-Man. You can't tell me he doesn't know. He just doesn't give him special treatment, because then it would blow Peter's cover. He minds his own damn business. And for that, we give Mr. Aziz 8 out of 8 slices of the homie pie. The villain roster in this game is actually incredible. It brings some of the most iconic villains in the franchise to the forefront, with most of them getting as much screen time as the main threat. It's not long before we're introduced to our first legacy villain, Rhino. He's kind of a tutorial boss. The pattern recognition is relatively simple, and you are also encouraged to use spider sense, which makes you faster than your foe and stronger than normal. We take him down without much of a hitch. This not only sets up the expectation for more unique encounters later in the game, but it's also written in a way that's indicative of the absurdist tone that the game usually takes. It lets you know not to take it too seriously, and just to have fun. The enemies can only be as fun as the combat though, and thankfully, the combat is also incredibly deep and fluid. If you feel like your input should be doing something, chances are it's doing exactly that. And if you manage to get bored with your current moveset, you can always upgrade your moves. Speaking of Spidey's rogue gallery, a more integral addition to the story that we see early on is Black Cat. I know she's not much now for gamers of today, but back in 2004 I instantly fell in love. Look, this is well-known trivia, but she was supposed to be even sexier apparently. How? At this point, I think any attempt to make her hotter would have the opposite effect. She's perfect. I started writing a whole paragraph describing what is so perfect about her, but I'm in a committed relationship and it was starting to feel like cheating with an ex. I felt dirty. That's how down bad I was for Black Cat. Anyway, she's basically the opposite of Mary Jane in every way. Mary Jane is rigid, indecisive, and toxic, while Black Cat is confident in herself and knows what she wants in life and encourages Spider-Man to treat himself better. On some real shit, that's a major complaint I have about the narrative of this game. Mary Jane is framed as the right choice, and she's the one who's always mad. She's willing to marry another man she barely knows out of spite, probably for some opportunity as well, and she's framed as the right choice. And that's up against the accepting, understanding, flirty, and supportive Black Cat, who is supposed to be portrayed more as the devil on his shoulder. I've always hated Raimi's take on Mary Jane. She's so hard to like. Team Black Cat, all day, every day. In our first encounter with Black Cat, we had just had a moment with MJ get short and took out a gallery of dumbasses. Black Cat baits Spider-Man into a chase while making quips back and forth. She's funny, too. Pull it together, Scarlet. She plays an integral role to the story, and in my opinion, is probably the most important side character in the narrative. She carries the narrative along during her sequences, where we see the pair become borderline lovers. She includes him on her escapades simply because she wants him there. This involves stopping heists, chase sequences, stopping weapons deals, chase sequences, trailing Shocker, race sequences, my bad. Look, I know I'm acting like it gets repetitive, but it really doesn't. Normally you're traveling from objective to objective anyway, but in these scenarios you get to hear Spidey talk to someone other than himself, and it builds these characters in incredible ways. These are probably the most well-written sequences narratively. My favorite part of the game, though, is the Mysterio sequence. JJ leads us to a sports arena for a showdown against special effects artist Quentin Beck. As soon as this level starts, I'm 5 years old again, having my mom's homemade hamburger helper for the first time ever. There's just something about it that puts me right back into that memory. We wipe the floor with him, of course, as prophesized by the lords of this guy's a little bitchopolis. Obviously, he doesn't take this well, and we are shortly thereafter sent to a theater for a news conference held by him. But instead of Beck, we get a giant hologram that calls itself Mysterio. This begins the funniest, most epic, and most absurd sequence of events. I'm just gonna let them speak for themselves. Let's just watch this play out. Let's just watch this play out.
What do you think Beck's got this time?
Who knows? He's a little loopy, right? Hollywood type.
People of New York, I am Mysterio. I will determine that your planet is ripe for conquest.
Mysterio?
Now I've seen everything.
Do not mock me, giving your fate. Your fate is sealed.
Bro, he is so mad.
Run for your lives! Run for it!
This is weirdly cinematic. Bro, homie looks like he's taking the biggest duke of his life.
Okay, I'll bite. How did the fishbowl get stuck on your head?
Insolent human, you are no match for the power of Mysterio.
Mysterio? I think I had a bowl of Mysterios for breakfast.
Bro, don't do him like that!
I'm not
Don't fucking do him like that!
I'm slipping!
That one.
A futile gesture, spider human. Even as we speak, my armada is advancing on your city. Our first target will be your Statue of Liberty.
Oh no, not the hot French stepmom.
Make your time.
I wonder if you could skip that cutscene.
A UFO invasion. Right.
Bro, he is so unfazed. This is simultaneously the coolest chapter in this game.
I have to admit,
Yet also the
Mysterio
funniest.
knows how to make a scene. Better figure out some way to get Lady Liberty back to her old self. It looks like that flying thing above the statue might be the source of Mysterio's little trick. Wrong.
I think this genuinely might be one of the funniest sections in any game I've ever played. It still hits, even after all this time. Screw this. Does it have eyeballs? Oh my god, it does have eyeballs. It does in fact have eyeballs.
Seems you're a more formidable opponent than I've given you credit for. I will have to deal with you personally. Come to my hidden fortress. There, I will defeat you once and for all.
Imagine having all the money and tech prowess to do this. And this is what you decide to do with it.
UFOs? Hidden fortress? Give me a break. This guy's watching way too much late night TV.
Yeah, and he's definitely a Discord mod nowadays.
How do I get back from here?
I know. A cutscene.
Hey, buddy. Can you give me a lift? I left my wallet in my other costume.
Spider-Man is so unserious.
Wow. Mysterio's hidden fortress looks just like an apartment.
I know, right? He's like the master of deception. I'm gonna just like make some ramen. Look at that, not even ramen.
A hidden door concealed by a bookcase? Mysterio, you brilliant fiend!
What do you think he reads?
Well, I guess I'd better check it out.
Uh-oh,
Glad
SpaghettiOs.
no one was around to see that. Where the heck am I?
Welcome, Spider-Man. So glad you could drop in.
Hey, it's Mysterio. The cliché who walks like a man.
Silence. Prepare to meet your end in my Funhouse of Doom.
Funhouse of
Funhouse
Doom.
Doom? I thought you were an alien.
Silence. As I was saying, even as we speak, I am watching you from my hidden control room. Perhaps you can find me, if you survive. Let's begin now, shall we? Let me introduce you to my friend.
Hey, look, that's me. Every time I think Rep TV's about to drop.
You'll soon discover that he's quite the cut-up.
Ugh. I think I've lost some weight. Okay, fun time is over. I need to figure out how to get out of here so I can find Mysterio
Fun
and knock
time?
some sense into that domed head of his.
Spider-Man has entered, confirmed.
What was that?
Now, prepare to meet the most dangerous.
This is so unserious. Bro.
Nuts.
Nuts. Homie's making these nuts jokes. Okay, so I think I may have found a pattern.
To be a lawsuit here somewhere.
And the pattern I think I found is... Hold on, let me take care of this guy so I can
Nuts.
speak. So you see that beam of light. Every 2 doors will not have one. But then you go to this one, and it will. So I think
Finding these guys
you
is
gotta
a bad
follow that
taste in my
pattern
mouth.
in order to find the door. Oh, I was right. I was right.
Looks like I found the exit. Finally.
Let's go! Big bumpy brain.
A hologram. Why should I be surprised?
You missed my plans this time, Spider-Man, but I'll be back. I promise you that.
Spider-Man not taking Mysterio seriously is the funniest thing. Casually strolling in and roasting his cringe while watching genuine acts of terrorism is crazy! Every section of this chapter gets weirder and weirder, and for me, this is the highlight of the entire game. This is the part that keeps me coming back after all these years. After this, we occasionally have to fight as robots when completing NPC requests, up until the final showdown against the alien creature. We find him holding up a convenience store. Our presence just makes him angrier, and he shows us the full extent of his power. With a 3-layered health bar, shit is about to get real.
Make no sudden movements, Earthling. I require large amounts of your currency.
Sure, Space Dude, whatever you say. Just don't disintegrate me or whatever.
How low the mighty have fallen.
You dare to challenge the infinite might of Mysterio? I will destroy you utterly. You will bear witness to the majesty and glory of my power. Prepare to die.
Whoa! That was sick, dude! You rock so hard, Spidey!
Oh, I give up. Don't hit me again.
Quentin Beck, I presume. Say cheese.
This is comedy gold. Whoever wrote this is the funniest person on planet Earth, and I want to smoke with them and maybe watch a couple movies. While Mysterio may be my favorite addition to the roster of baddies, we definitely can't leave out Shocker. Shocker has the privilege of being the best boss in the game. First time you face him with Black Cat, you're in a warehouse. The set design combined with Shocker's abilities make for a genuinely thrilling, sweaty encounter. He has huge AoE attacks made of pure fucking lightning. It's exciting, it's engaging, and it's tough. So is the second fight with him. I'm not exactly sure still what's going on here, but in this one you have to deactivate his force field before attacking. It's very mechanically similar, but with extra steps that require more planning and cooperation with Black Cat, which is always a good thing. Then finally we have Dr. Otto Octavius. Doc is the main threat of the movie, therefore he must be in the game. He's there, he's cool, Alfred Molina is the best voice actor in the game, his fights are fun and mechanically sound, but weirdly, he feels the most out of place. This game is an excellent Spider-Man game, up until it remembers the fact that it needs to be a Spider-Man 2 game. The need to tie it into the reference material is the biggest thing bogging it down. When the developers and writers are free to cook, it's top tier. But the movie sections themselves feel like an afterthought, and honestly, they probably were. You can tell the developers loved the IP they were working with, and wanted to make a Spider-Man game for Spider-Man fans. And they probably got busy implementing all of these ideas to turn a 2-hour movie into a full gaming experience, and then remembered, shit, we need to tell Raimi's story too. It's a shame because I still revisit this one more than the Insomniac games, and we saw with those how excellent a Spider-Man game made by Spider-Man fans can be when it's not bogged down by Hollywood greed. To be clear, I blame Sony, not Treyarch. Of course, I have a couple other mild complaints to add to the pile. The voice acting is subpar at best in most cases. The worst of the worst is the various citizens of New York. Their voices are about as janky and inconsistent as their character models, and who the fuck is this? Because it sure as hell is not May.
May, sorry I'm late.
Peter, don't be sorry. I was just worried about you.
Somebody get Mother Goose out of here. I feel personally offended by this. This is a hate crime against the elderly. While the voice acting can feel a bit lackluster at times, the same can't be said for the sound design and score. Every little sound in this game was masterfully crafted to sound how it should in a comic book universe. Of course you have your basics, like the sound of spinning a web or punching a baddie. But even those basics have so much extra depth to them. For example, the sound of your punch is different depending on the type of enemy you hit. You got the standard punch sound, but then robots sound like you're punching metal, and Mysterio's clown dudes sound like you're hitting them with a rubber bat. And when you're swinging, the screen blurs around you as you hear the whooshing sound of wind passing by you at high speeds. They're doing everything they can to put you in Spidey's place, even down to the sounds he would hear. The score has a bombastic feel to it, some loud classical motifs, some electric 2000s music, and even some new metal style bangers.
Escape from today! Right! Yeah! Bring it on! Bring it on! You wanna be down with the T-shirt? Fuck the glam rock! I sound like a shamrock! MCs to test me, well, a chest to chest me, but I ain't all about that!
Everything just works in terms of sound and score, and these songs will get stuck in your head for years to come, or maybe I'm just projecting. Then there's something that's seemingly very minor that has bothered me since I was a youngin'. Peter's eyesight. Why the hell do they model glasses on this man? He'll have them during in-game cutscenes, but not during cinematic cutscenes, which is weird enough. I decided to let it go until the final boss. Watch this shit.
None of your cheap theatrics today, cretin. I see Osborn was too weak-stomached to kill you. No matter, I'll take great pleasure in rending you limb from limb myself.
So now we have Peter's face showing while still wearing the suit, and guess what? No glasses. So you're gonna tell me that not only did they put glasses on his in-game model, but they have one without glasses too? Why not just use that? It's been bothering me for literally 20 years. Sometimes I can't sleep over it, and I wish I was kidding. But those gripes aside, this is one of the most fun games from my childhood that I still come back to at 25. I think in playing through it again for this retrospective, I realize why it's this one that keeps me coming back. The Insomniac games are incredible. Every mechanic has been fine-tuned to perfection. Everything is so smooth with nearly zero jank behind it. The stories are emotionally gripping with nothing but perfect voice acting and S-tier writing. You feel for these characters and end up violently sobbing on numerous occasions. You empathize with Peter and the ones he loves, and even his enemies, but that's just it. It doesn't make me feel like Spider-Man the way this does. Of course, it takes all the greatness from this game and masters it 10 times over, but it creates a more scripted, narrative experience all the way down to the gameplay. Ironically, it feels like playing a Spider-Man movie, while this one feels more like a video game. Look, you don't see Peter breaking down emotionally, but you hear how dejected he sounds. He's not sad. He's fucking exhausted. He tries to keep up with Spider-Man and Peter Parker, but doesn't have time for either. When you have a bad day, does emotional music swell up at the same rate as your tears, aesthetically falling down one side of your face? Or do you walk into your burning building of a life with a jaded, this shit again attitude? My money's on the second one. If you were Spider-Man, you wouldn't have time to cry about things. You would have to just let everything pile up and let everyone know you're sick of their bullshit. At least I can relate to that way more, personally. This even translates to the gameplay. The Insomniac games are so smooth, but to the point where it feels somewhat automated. Again, this is not an insult. I'm not gonna shit on a game for what it's not. I'm gonna love it for what they are. And that's what I'm trying to explain about this game. It doesn't try to be a AAA narrative masterpiece. It's just a fun little romp for those of us who couldn't get enough of the big red and blue bug. And sometimes, when I've had a long, annoying day, I feel like Peter Parker. So I zone out, and I play Spider-Man 2. Nah, let's be honest, it's Black Cat. Mommy. Thank you for tuning into this retrospective. This game means a lot to me, and it meant a lot to me as a kid. It's the first game that I really sunk my teeth into after my grandmother died, and it's been comforting me since then, so it felt really nice to give it the look back it deserves. I just kinda wish there was more to do once it ended. Alright, ladies, gentlemen, Wait, just and all- stop! Don't end the video! Huh? Who the hell said that? I did! I'm you from 2 days in the future! 2 days? Isn't that a waste of a time hop? What? I'm pretty sure you can only do a finite number of those without breaking the universe. What are you Scarlet, this is a video game retrospective, not a Doctor Who episode. You know what? Let me take over for a bit. After I finished writing the script, I was adding a section about the development history and came across this. On Wikipedia, I quote, "The developers at Treyarch were forced to cut a large amount of content, scrapping Lizard, Scorpion, Kraven the Hunter, and Calypso, who were meant to be boss characters in the game's narrative structure, as well as an explorative giant sewer system. Calypso was kept in as an optional post-game boss challenge." What? Suddenly, I realized this video was far from done. I had to see what Calypso had in store for me, and I was not about to just cheap out and watch a video. No, I had to see this through. How hard could it be for a game I've been playing for 20 years? Yeah, it took 20 years to learn she existed. First, you have to beat the game. Shit, no problem. Second, you have to buy the post-game battle arena from the shop. Done and done. Then, you need to do 3 timed combat challenges, all of which allow you to replenish your health once per round. Piece of cake. First time challenge went down without any trouble, same as the second. I was gonna meet Calypso and it was happening in minutes. Then I started the 3rd time challenge. Oh my goblin. This took me way too many tries. It's these fucking clowns! They're hit point sponges, and you have no way of knowing how long it's gonna take to destroy them. I resorted to counting punches, and finally, with less than a second to spare, I did it! Next were 3 endurance rounds. This shouldn't be too hard, I just gotta survive. Time was the problem with the last rounds. Me against 25 baddies? Why not? 50's a little cheap, but no problem. 75? On 1 life? I can't replenish my life at all during these endurance rounds, which I guess obviously, but 75 on 1 life, that is cheap. Look, I was losing it. It got so bad, I needed to phone a friend for moral support. Alright, this is my, I think, 18th try.
Your 18th try?
Mm-hmm.
Stop being bad, dude. I forgot.
Damn. You are not the father. Or whatever.
Oh, I'm not.
It was a Pantech Pursuit. It was like basically a knockoff sidekick.
That's funny. My first phone was a fucking, what was it, track phone?
Oh, if we're counting track
prepaid.
phones. Oh, if we're not counting like a plan phone, then my first cell phone was the kid's Firefly phone from Singular.
I played all Spider-Man games on PS2.
You never had a Gamecube either, right? You just had a Wii?
What do you call it? I didn't have a Gamecube up until
Do you know how many people I've given Gamecubes? At least like 6. I'm like, what? You don't have a Gamecube? Uh-oh, I'm low on health. Fuck! Okay.
Error 404.
Brain not found! I fucking hate this game. I really wish I would have just stopped writing my script last night. I really wish I would have just been like, okay, it's done. Because otherwise, I would have never known about this, and I would have never had to do it for the video. You know, realistically, I could just look it up, but then I can't give it my true opinions. Oh, because you know I've lost progress before because I forgot. What? Why was that such a big hit? That was 1 hit. How did it take that much? Just kill me. Just kill me. That's it. Come on. Come on. Oh, now you're taking forever? Now you're incompetent?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Hold on a second. Hold on. We gotta think of what to do. Okay, cool. There, you're done.
The wrench. You had a sniper right there. Is your sniper that bad he can't aim from that close? Shut up, John. Eat a dick.
Eat several.
Eat a bag of dicks. A whole bag of them. A large.
Eat an aquarium.
An aquarium of dicks?
Yeah, an aquarium of dicks.
Americans will use anything with the metric system.
Eat a kilometer.
Eat a kilometer of dicks.
Eat a kilometer of dicks. Several miles of dicks.
Eat 3 spaceships or 27 elephants of dicks.
That's just a funny insult. Eat several miles of dicks.
That actually came from, Grandma Marion.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, this is the fucking chair, dude.
You know, Grandma may be dead, but at least we got a sick chair out of him.
Yeah, dude. We got a sick fucking chair, dude.
It's a massage chair, too, dude.
No.
Uh-huh. Look at the bottom controls.
Oh my god.
Just don't be too rough on it.
Oh. I'll be... Oh.
You just fart?
No, the chair.
Don't be too rough.
Oh.
And it queefs. Eat 8,327 White Castles of dick.
How the fuck do you power this shit off?
You hold the vibration button.
Cool.
I spent like fucking 10 minutes trying to figure that out earlier.
It doesn't really come with instructions.
Yeah, no, I could ask the person who used to own it. You got a Ouija board? Oh yeah, Grandma, you know how you said to keep it low-key? Well, I may have invited, some unwanted guests. This is Pazuzu. We smoke Pazaza. Yeah, turns out there's something else I missed after all this time. As you damage the enemy, the red in their icon drains down until the circle is fully yellow. Once there's no red left, hit them again and they'll be knocked dead. 20 years, y'all. 20 years. With that finally done, it was time to move on to the boss rounds. You first had to take down Mech Suit Guy, then Rhino, then Shocker, while also being surrounded by their goons in each of their respective rounds. I figured the best strat was to avoid the boss while taking out his lackeys and save the big bads for last. An interesting thing to note is that some lizard enemies appear for the first and only time in this section, presumably from the cut sewer level. That was really neat, and I appreciated seeing things for the first time after all these years. Speaking of which, we move on to Calypso. She is so cool. Her attacks are like nothing you see anywhere else in the game, borrowing directly from her 1980 origins as a Haitian voodoo priestess. You must find a projection of a wand and punch it, disabling the protective hex it has over her. This disables her force field, allowing you to swiftly move in for the attack before she teleports and you start the cycle anew. She has 3 main moves. She could send out a spell to grab you and drag you around, disorienting you and interrupting your strategy. There's also the ice attack, which freezes you in place for a few seconds. Then there's the only move that can directly damage you, which is a fireball attack. It's worth noting, however, you never fight her by herself, so her harmless attacks can actually be detrimental to you, as they can move you towards danger or leave you open for attack. All in all, she was a worthy addition and I had a blast. I still wish there was a little bit more to this game, but what is here is a genuine masterpiece. Alright, ladies... Wait, don't end it. There's more. What? Seriously? Yeah, 4 more boss rounds and you get the hardest fight in the game. Look, we've done more than anybody else. I've never watched a retrospective of this game that even mentions Calypso. Don't you think we've done enough? Enough? Look, I didn't start this channel to do just enough. Alright, get the fuck out of my way. I'll do it. Alright, now we have Doc Ock. It's the same fight as the final boss after deactivating the reactor. Then it's both Rhino and Calypso. What, we're doing doubles now? Followed by a double of Shocker and Doc... Oh, wait. Oh, no. I know what's about to happen. Oh, dear Lord, take me now. This was it. This was the ultimate test of my power. We have Shocker, blasting me in various directions, sending out huge area of effect attacks. Doc trailing me down, trying to grab and smack me around. Calypso doing everything in her power to slow me down and keep me vulnerable. And Rhino patrolling the bottom level, making it extremely dangerous to touch the floor. I tried countless strats, and the only one that seemed to come close to working was to beat Shocker first while trying to keep Calypso's powers at bay and avoiding the tentacles and eagle blasts at all costs. Avoiding damage is the primary goal, and dishing it out is secondary. After grinding and sweating and crying, and once again asking Gianni to come keep me company for moral support, I did it. I fucking did it. I leapt from my chair. I screamed at the game like I was fucking Joe Swanson and just laid down on the floor. I know it sounds dramatic, but I've never felt more accomplished as a gamer. This is the extra challenge I've always wanted in this game, and I finally got it. It was there, with me all along. And just like Peter, I felt like a completely changed person once I realized I had the power to overcome the hardest challenges I've ever faced. Wait! Oh my god, what now? You have to say the thing! I was going to! Oh, my bad, do your thing. You know what? Sorry. I'm sorry. What? This is our thing. Let's do it together. Really? Alright, ladies, gentlemen, and all spandex butterflies of the world, stay safe, stay hydrated, and remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Amen? No. Hope dangles on a string, like slow spinning redemption, winding in, winding out. The shine of it has caught my eye and roped me in, so mesmerizing and so hypnotizing. I am captivated, I am vindicated, I am selfish, I am wrong, I am right, I swear I'm right, swear I knew it all along, and I am flawed, but I am cleaning up so well. I am seeing in me now the things you swore you saw yourself. So clear, like the diamond in your ring, cut to mirror your intention. Oversized, overwhelmed, shine of which has caught my eye and rendered me so isolated and so motivated. I am certain now that I am vindicated. I am selfish, I am wrong, I am right, I swear I'm right, swear I knew it all along, and I am flawed, but I am cleaning up so well. I am seeing in me now the things you swore you saw yourself. So turn up the corners of your lips, part them, feel my fingertips, chase the moment, fall forever. Defenses paper thin, just one touch, and I'd be into deep now to ever swim against the current. So let me slip away, so let me slip away, let me slip away, let me slip against the current, let me slip away, let me slip away, let me slip away. Let me slip away. Vindicated, I am selfish, I am wrong, I am right, I swear I'm right, swear I knew it all along, and I am flawed, but I am cleaning up so well. I am seeing in me now the things you swore you saw yourself. Tangles on a string, like slow spinning redemption.
I'm checking on you guys and simply get over here. You liking my chair?
I love this chair.
You can't have it.
I know I can't have it.
Oh my god,
I'm enjoying it, though.
she just froze me and then lit me on fire.
Right.